my friends, and welcome to Powerful Flow. We're going to get moving fairly quickly here, but just to start off, find your way into a comfortable seated position. You can sit on your heels or come to cross-legged, whatever you prefer. Situate yourself so your spine is elongated, shoulders roll back. Allow the eyes to gently close. Begin to drop your attention down to the parts of your body that are connected to the earth. Feel your legs giving into gravity. Your hips settling. And feel from the base of your spine all the way up to the top of the spine. Feeling each vertebrae stacked one on top of the other. Acknowledging if you're feeling any tightness in the shoulders. Just encouraging that tension to slip away. Just freeing up some more space in the front of your body for your breath. Witness the breath coming and going at its own pace and rhythm. Begin to put a little bit more emphasis on your exhalation, drawing your navel gently towards your back. As you inhale, the belly can be soft and full. As you exhale, belly button pulls back. Feeling a gentle lift of the pelvic floor. In yoga, we refer to that sensation, that pulling in action where the navel draws in but also slightly upwards, Mula Bandha. It's a very important aspect when we move from position to position to keep that slightly engaged. And just to emphasize slightly, it doesn't need to be fully contracted as tightly as possible, but a little bit of intention there throughout your practice will help you to stay stable and balanced. So let's take one more breath here, slow and deep. And then gently begin to blink your eyes open. If you prefer to keep them closed, that's great too. We'll switch the cross of the legs if we've been sitting cross-legged, and if you've been on your shins, you can find your way to a cross-legged position. Begin to move your torso over towards the right as you breathe in and then come forward. As you exhale, roll to the left and back. So hands can be resting on the thighs or the knees. Your head can be in a neutral position with your spine, or you can let your head kind of roll around like a bobblehead if that feels good. Sense into your hips, notice the sensations as they kind of roll around. One more time this direction. And then switch. Having an embodied experience, so really paying attention to all that is awake inside. Forget about what's happening outside of your body. If there's distractions, noises, having a really internal experience. Take one more circle around. And then as you come to center, extend your right leg out in front of you. Keep your left leg just as it is. Your right heel is going to be on the floor with the toes pointing up towards the sky. I'm going to take an interlace of our fingers and wrap them around the sole of the foot. The right elbow or the right knee will come in towards the right armpit. Engage your core and begin to lean just slightly back so your heel comes off of the ground. As you breathe in, begin to straighten the leg any amount. As you exhale, knee comes in towards the armpit. As you breathe in, straighten the leg any amount. Maybe think about lifting the heel high towards the sky. As you exhale, knee comes in towards the armpit. One more time, inhale, feel the sensation of stretch in the back of the leg. Exhale, elbow towards armpit. Stay here, begin to cradle your legs. So you're gonna take your heel towards the opposite shoulder and then hold on with your inner elbows. Palms can or fingers can interlace around kind of the shin area, and then just take a little rock of your right leg side to side. If having the knee and the foot in the elbow crease is too much, you can always just hold on with your hands. So knee and hand and foot and hand. Find what works for you. Sitting nice and tall. And we'll gently release and plant the right foot on the inside of the crossed leg position, so your left leg is forward. Take an inhale breath to reach the arms up towards the sky. As you exhale, twist to your right. Let your left hand find your right knee, your right fingertips to the floor behind you. Inhale to sit nice and tall. Exhale to twist a little bit more. One more time like that. Inhale, sit a little taller. Exhale, revolve a millimeter more. As you inhale, unwind, let your arms reach up towards the sky, get long through your side body, low belly drawn in, Mula Bandha. As you exhale, turn towards your left, right hand to left knee, left fingertips to the earth behind you. Inhale to lengthen through the spine, roll the shoulders back. As you exhale, slowly twist just a little bit more. Inhale, a heaviness through the sitting bones, a lightness through the crown of the head. Exhale to twist maybe a millimeter more. Inhale to unwind. You're going to extend your left leg out in front of you, heel on the floor, interlace your fingers, lean forward so you can catch the sole of the foot, and then engage your core to lean back. Your left elbow or your left knee is towards your left armpit. Roll your shoulders away from your ears, sit nice and tall. As you breathe in, extend your legs straight as what it can be. And then as you exhale, bend the knee so the knee comes right in towards that armpit. Inhale, straighten the leg. Think about the heel going up towards the sky. Exhale, knee towards armpit, shoulders stay relaxed. One more time. Inhale, kick it up. Exhale, pull it in. Pause here, a little external rotation, so your foot's going to come across your body. You can take the inner elbow approach if you like, or you can hold on with your hands, whatever you like. Try to remain sitting nice and tall. A broadness in the front of the chest so the breath can move with ease and grace. You can rock a little bit side to side at whatever pace feels good for you, just feeling into that left hip. One more breath here. And you can gently release, let your foot come down. We'll find tabletop position. So letting the hands find the ground. Knees will be underneath the hips. And we'll begin to move through a few cat-cows nice and slow. So on an inhale breath, begin to tilt your pelvis so your tailbone lifts up towards the sky. The crown of the head lifts and the shoulder blades draw back. As you exhale, begin to round your spine, draw the navel in towards the back body, press into your hands and look in between your knees. Inhale, drop the belly, lift the gaze, lift the heart. Exhale, curl the spine, really suction cup your navel towards your back. One more time, inhaling at your own pace and rhythm. Exhaling, creating some space in the back body. As you inhale, find neutral. Walk your hands just a hand space forward in front of you. Tuck the toes under. Begin to lift your hips up and back, coming into downward facing dog. Ensuring that your feet are about hip distance apart. Look down at your hands and ensure that there's space in between your fingers. So try to spread your fingers as wide as you can. And then imagine that you're opening up a jar. Your right hand is energetically spinning towards the right, so you'll see your tricep point back and your bicep point forward. And then your left hand, you're energetically opening up a jar to the left, so the same thing happens on that arm, the tricep back, the bicep forward. And then with both of those hands in that external rotation, think about pulling the thumb tips closer together, and you'll feel your back broaden. Begin to lift the sits bones up towards the sky and press your heels towards the ground. Draw your navel in towards your spine. Try not to let your ribs hang heavy. And take a deep breath in. Stay for the breath out. Walk your feet so they're side by side, or right beside one another rather, the big toes touching. Inhale to lift your heels up, and then as you exhale, let your hips dip over towards the left. Your heels will point to the left, your hips move to the left, and you're going to press into your right hand strongly. Feel the sensation of stretch from your right pinky finger all the way to that right hip. Next, inhale, bring yourself back to center. Big toes are touching. Big bend in the knees. Heels are lifted. As you exhale, hips and heels move towards the right. Press strongly down into your left hand. Feel that sensation of length and stretch from that left pinky finger all the way to the left hip. Take another breath here. Inhale, bring yourself back to center, keeping the big toes touching and the heels lifted. Start to send your right leg up towards the sky, still keeping that left heel really high. Lifting that right heel as high as what feels good for you. Take a breath in. As you exhale, the right knee is going to pull in towards the chest, round your back like you did in your cat position, and send your shoulders so they're over your wrists. Slowly step your right foot in between your hands. You can wiggle around a little bit to find your alignment. Right knee over ankle, left leg straight and strong, hips square. Find a focal point in front of you, and then use an inhale breath to sweep your arms all the way up into the air. As you exhale, open your arms into a big T position with your palms facing forward. As you breathe in, reach your arms as far back as you can, lifting your heart up. And then as you exhale, let your fingertips find the ground, framing your right foot. Step your left foot all the way up to meet it, and then slide your hands up your shins, lifting up halfway. As you exhale, fold. Bend your knees a lot, send your hips back and down, inhale into chair, hips go low, arms go up, hips move back. Engage that low belly, Mula Bandha. Try not to let your ribs flare too much. You want to keep some activation through the whole front core. Really reach through your fingertips, take another breath in. As you exhale, fold on down. Slide your hands to your shins, lift up just halfway. Lengthen your tailbone back and the crown of your head forward. As you exhale, hands find the ground, step back into a plank. Top of a push-up. Same idea with those hands. So you're energetically spinning the hands in an external rotation. Take a nice deep breath in here. As you exhale, let your knees touch down. Keep your core strong. Slowly lower your chest down, bending your elbows. Once your belly touches, untuck your toes. Press down into the tops of your feet and use the strength of your back to lift your chest, not using your hands. Holding in your cobra for another round of breath. Okay, let your hands come back down right underneath the shoulders. Tuck the toes under. Press into your hands. Engage your core. Come up into your plank. Hold plank. Breathe in. Exhale, lift the hips high. Bring your big toes to touch. Inhale, lift your left leg up towards the sky, lifting your right heel as well. So coming to the tippy toes of your right heel again, or your right foot again. Lift your left leg as high as you can. Deep inhale. Exhale, knee pulls in towards the chest. Round your back, draw the navel in, shift your shoulders over your wrists, and then step the left foot silently in between your hands. Make sure your feet are hip distance apart. Squeeze those inner thighs together. Look forward, find your balance. Inhale, reach the arms all the way up into the air. As you exhale, open the arms into a T, palms face forward. And then as you breathe in, open the chest up, reach the arms as far back as you can, keep the low belly engaged. As you exhale, fingertips come down to the floor. Step your right foot up to meet the left, big toes together. Slide your hands up your shins, lift up just halfway. As you exhale, fold. Inhale, chair, hips go low, arms go up. Shift the hips back so your knees are not going past your toes. Take a deep breath in here. As you exhale, turn towards the right, hands come to the heart, spin your chest, and then let your left elbow come in contact with your right thigh. Rolling your chest open, keeping your hips low, squeezing the inner thighs together, and keeping your balance by looking at one spot, whether that be on the floor or on a wall somewhere. Take another breath. Next, inhale, come all the way up through center, arms reach towards the sky. As you exhale, come back through your chair, spinning towards the left this time. Right elbow hooks to left knee, pressing into your palms, keeping your hips low, engaging the core, sending those hips back and down, finding your focal point. Good, on your next breath in, slowly unwind, reach the arms all the way up towards the sky, interlace the fingers and flip the palms towards the ceiling. Take your feet a little bit wider than hips distance. Inhale, press down into the feet, lift the palms towards the ceiling. As you exhale, little side bend over to the right. Inhale, come back to center. And exhale, little side bend to your left. Good, inhale, come back to center. As you exhale, let your hands come to your heart, heel to your feet underneath your hips. Inhale, reach your arms towards the sky like you're holding onto a beach ball. As you exhale, hinge from your hips, little bend in the knees, coming into your chair position, holding here for a breath in. As you exhale, fingertips come down to the floor. Inhale, halfway lift, breathe in. Exhale, plant your fingertips on the earth, just right beside your feet. Pluck your right heel or your right foot off of the ground, pulling your right heel towards your right butt. Your right butt cheek. Take an inhale to begin to straighten your right leg back. Think of an L shape with your legs. So your left leg is nice and engaged. There can be a soft bend in the knee, but try to keep it fairly straight. And that right leg is actively pushing back. Low belly is drawn in. Take another inhale here. As you exhale, slowly start to bend your left knee so the right toes come down to the floor. Right when that happens, inhale, reach your arms up towards the sky. As you exhale, warrior two, right heel finds the ground. Make that little dance shuffle with your feet so your left heel is in line with the arch of the back foot, and then sink nice and low. Take an inhale to lift just your left arm up towards the sky, and then bend the elbow so the palm rests right on the nape of your neck. Right hand's gonna come up and plant right over top of your left elbow, encouraging the left elbow or the left tricep to find a little bit more length as you press that left elbow down. Take an inhale here to begin to straighten through your left leg. Both of your legs are strong. As you exhale, a little lean back towards the right. As you inhale, come back to center, bend through the left knee. Release the arms into that T position. As you exhale, fingertips come down to the floor on the inside of your left leg, reaching your right arm up and over. So finding your side angle pose, you want to firmly press your right foot into the ground so your whole right leg is active, engaging your glutes and sending your hips nice and low. The right arm can be lifting straight up, or you can take bicep by the ear, reaching your right fingers away from your right heel. Low belly drawn in, take one more breath. Gazing down at the floor, let the right hand come to the earth, swivel to the toes on your back foot, your heel will be towards the sky. And then as you breathe in, the left arm will reach up towards the sky, coming into a twisted lunge. Keep pulling the inner thighs towards center. So you're isometrically pulling your left heel back and pulling your right toes forward, if that makes sense. So squeezing inner thighs towards center. Take another breath here. As you exhale, left hand's gonna come down to the floor on the inside of your left foot. Walk your left foot a little bit more towards the left side of your mat, creating a bit more space in between your hips here. Begin to shift forward and back, making sure that the fingers are spread wide and you've got that kind of external rotation through your shoulders. So again, like you're opening up jars with your hands. Good. Now option, you can stay here, or you can begin to find stillness and just bend your elbows a little bit, bringing your chest closer to the floor and then coming back up. Bending the elbows to come closer to the floor, coming back up. One more time, bend the elbows, come a little closer towards the floor. Maybe take your left hand onto the other side of your left foot. So you can start to play with shifting your weight forward and back again. Just a little bit of a different sensation here. You can continue doing that, or you can find those little elbow bends again. So just bringing your chest closer to the floor. One more time. Good, coming back to center. If your hand's on the outside of your foot, walk it back in. Press strongly into your hands, protract your shoulders. Slide your left foot back to meet your right. Find your plank, take a breath in. As you exhale, moving through vinyasa, knees come down, lowering the chest. Untuck the toes, press down into the tops of the feet. Inhale, lift the chest. Exhale, down dog. Holding your down dog, take a deep breath in. And a full breath out. Okay, so option here, you can stay in your down dog for a little bit more time. You can come to child's pose, or if you'd like to play with some handstand hops, you're gonna walk your right foot to the center of your mat. Your left leg's gonna stay long behind you. Your hands are on the floor, shoulder distance apart. You're playing with that external rotation, and your gaze is at the floor right in between your thumbs. Keep your right leg really heavy, so you're not kicking all the way up. It's gonna be a little weight for you. So as you're ready, you can start to press into the right foot, lift the left leg, keep the right leg nice and heavy, and then lower back down softly. So little kicks up. You might find a little hover, you might not. Don't kick so hard that you fall back, but kick hard enough that you're finding, a little bit of strength. Go twice more if you're giving it a try. Once that's complete, down dog, deep breath in. Full breath out. Walk your feet towards your hands, come towards the top of your mat, slide your hands up your shins, lift up halfway. As you exhale, fold. Fingertips to the floor, pluck your left foot off of the ground, pulling your heel in towards your glute, pausing here. As you breathe in, kick your left leg out strongly behind you, like you're pushing your foot into a wall, keeping your hips pointing down, your low belly drawn in. Take another breath here. As you exhale, start to bend your right knee nice and slow. Left toes come down to the ground, landing hip distance apart. Inner thighs gather in. Inhale, arms reach up. Exhale to warrior two. Left heel finds the ground. Do that little dance shuffle of your feet. Adjust your clothes if you need. And then the right knee right over top of the ankle. Hips pointing towards the side edge of your mat. Arms reaching out nice and wide. Inhale the right arm up towards the sky. Bend the elbow so the hand finds the nape of the neck. Left hand comes up on top of the right elbow, encouraging that right hand to come a little further down the spine. Take an inhale to begin to straighten through your right leg. The quads of both legs are strong and active. As you exhale, a little lean back, creating more space for your right side body. Next inhale, come back through center. Arms open into the T, bending through your right knee, so it's right over your ankle. As you exhale, right fingertips come down to the floor on the inside of that right leg, reaching the left arm up towards the sky. Shoulders roll back, and think about spinning your right ribs underneath you and rolling your left ribs back. Press strongly down into your left foot. Maybe lift your left arm over your head so your heel and your fingers are reaching in opposing directions strongly. Feel the strength of your body here. One more breath. Gaze comes down, left hand comes down. You're going to spin through to a lunge position. Left hand on the floor, left foot, left heel lifted. Inhale, right arm lifts towards the sky. Keep that scissoring action of your legs. So front foot pulls back foot pulls forward. Hips are nice and parallel to the ground, nice and neutral. Chest is open. Take one more breath here. Exhale, right hand comes on the inside of your right foot. Again, walk your right foot over towards the right side of your mat, hands shoulder distance apart. You can begin to just sway a little bit side to side here. Just going to change my orientation again. Okay, coming forward and back. And then maybe bending the elbows and straightening, bending, and straightening. One more. And then if you like, you can take your right hand on the inside, or the outside rather, of your foot. Maybe walk your foot a little closer in. Again, shift forward and back. It's a little different sensation in those hips. Again, and then maybe bending the elbows, getting closer to the ground, and then straightening the arms. Bending the elbows, straightening the arms. One more time. Bend and straighten. Hold here. Walk your foot back on the outside of your hand if it isn't already. Press strongly into your hands and slide your right foot back to meet your left. Hold your plank. Take a breath in. As you exhale this time, shift your weight forward. Bend your elbows, chaturanga. Inhale to cobra or upward facing dog. Exhale to downward facing dog. You can stay in down dog, you can take child's pose, or if you'd like to play some handstand hops, left foot's going to come to the center of your mat. You're going to keep your left leg really heavy. You want to think about your shoulders going over top of your wrists, elevating your right leg up, landing with a soft bend in your leg. So inhale, right leg lifts, left leg stays heavy. Exhale, bend the knees as you come down. Inhale up, exhale down. Gaze is in between the thumbs. Don't worry about if you're not getting super high. Don't worry if you're finding a float or not. Do about 3 more. Keep that mula bandha, low belly drawn in. Last 2. One more time. Landing in your down dog, take a deep breath in. As you exhale, child's pose, hips towards heels, arms reach forward. Give your palms an offering towards the sky. Turn your thumbs out, so you're getting an external rotation of your shoulders here. Take a deep breath in, and a full breath out. On your next inhale, peel yourself up onto your hands and knees. Find your down dog. You're going to gaze towards your thumbs. Take little steps up towards your hands. Slide your hands up your shins once you get there, halfway lift. As you exhale, fold. In your fold, bend your knees a lot, send your hips back and down, and then inhale your arms up, come into your chair. As you exhale, hands come to the heart, spin to the right, left elbow hooks to right thigh. Keeping your gaze down, roll your shoulders back, engage your low belly, and send your hips back and down. Keep your gaze at the floor, lift your left heel up, so you're just on the tippy-tippies of your left toes. And then begin to pull your left heel in towards your butt, so you're in kind of a weird flamingo stance. And then strongly kick your left leg back behind you, pause. Gently lower the left toes down to the floor, pause. Readjust if you need to, making sure your feet are hip distance apart, continuing to press down into your hands and open your chest. You can stay here if you'd like to go into a funky little arm balance. You're gonna make sure that your knee or your thigh is as high up onto your left tricep as you can get it. You're gazing down at the floor. Your hands are going to come off of your mat, keeping the hands shoulder distance apart. As you tip over, you're going to come to the pinky edge side of your right foot. Begin to shift your weight forward. Maybe your right foot comes off the ground, maybe your left foot. Flex through the feet. Take one more breath. Slowly come back up. Come back into your twist if you gave that arm balance a little try. Good, then we'll all gaze down at the floor, hands on either side of your right foot. Send your right leg back, but don't let it touch the ground. Let it just hover there for a moment. And then take a hamstring curl of your right leg. So your heel pulls in towards your butt, your knees are side by side. Roll over onto the pinky edge side of your left foot, letting your right foot find the ground behind you. Strongly press down into your right foot, spinning your left toes towards the back of your mat, opening your chest. Right arm reaches over the head for Wild Thing. Low belly draws in, take one more breath. Next inhale, begin to unwind nice and slow. You're gonna roll to the pinky edge side of your left foot. Keep your right leg lifted. Come into a three-legged dog, take a big inhale. As you exhale, right foot steps to the top of the mat. And then gaze forward, find your focal point, square your hips. Let your hands travel up to heart center, and then lift your left leg up off of the ground, coming into a variation of warrior three. So hips are pointing down, right glute is active, pressing strongly through that left leg. Take one more breath. On your next inhale, slowly come to standing. Left foot comes next to the right foot. Close your eyes. Keep your hands at your heart if you've lost your breath. Come back to it. On your next inhale, reach your arms up towards the sky. As you exhale, fold over your legs. As you breathe in, slide your hands to your shins, lift up halfway. As you exhale, fold. In your fold, bend your knees a lot, send your hips back and down. Inhale the arms up, come into your chair pose. As you exhale, hands to the heart, spin to the left, right elbow finds the left knee or thigh. Pressing down into your hands, or pressing your left hand down into your right rather, roll your chest. Squeeze those inner thighs together, keep your gaze down. Begin to peel just your right heel off of the ground. Find your balance. And then staying stable on the left foot, pull your right heel towards your butt, kind of a little flamingo stance. Embrace the wobble, and then begin to kick your right leg back. Stay strong through that left glute. And then lower the right toes down. Give yourself a little wiggle if you need to. Find hips distance apart with the feet. Keep the spin of the chest. Stay right here if you choose. If you'd like to find the little funky arm balance, ensure that your tricep is right up against your knee, so as far up on your tricep as you can get it. You're gonna come off of your mat a bit. Your hands are gonna come over to the left, making sure your hands are shoulder distance apart as you do this. And then sending your chest forward, using that little shelf of your right elbow for your left foot to maybe lift. Maybe your right foot lifts. Taking your time to land back in your twisted lunge. Don't worry about if it's not super graceful today, there's always tomorrow. Let your hands come down to the floor, framing your left foot. Send your left leg back, but don't let it touch the ground, let it just hover there. Keeping your knees side by side. Take a hamstring curl of your left leg. Roll to the pinky edge side of your right foot. Your left foot will find the floor. As you breathe in, lift the hips, straighten the right leg, and open your chest. Next inhale, unwind, coming back into your plank position. Lifting your left leg up. Three-legged dog, big breath in. Exhale, left foot steps in between the hands. Almost there, guys. Find your focal point just a little bit in front of you. Hands together at the heart. Lots of energy in those legs. We're going to step that right leg off the mat and send it back behind us, coming into a variation of warrior three. Engage your left glute. Roll your right hip down. Take one more breath in. As you exhale, stand tall. Mountain pose. Close your eyes. Find your breath. Walk to about the middle of your mat. Feet together. Reach your arms up into the air, breathe in. As you exhale, let your arms come out into a T, turning your palms up. Find your focal point, come high up onto your tippy toes. Begin to bend your knees, pointing your knees towards the front of the room, and slowly lowering down. We're gonna let our hips land gently on our heels, on the back of our ankles. If toe stand is not a friend of yours, feel free to skip it. We won't be here for very long. You can keep your arms as they are, just working on your balance, or hands can come together at the heart. Taking a turn towards the left. Bringing your hands down to the floor, shoulder distance apart. Maybe 2 feet away from your left pinky toe. Spinning your triceps back, gazing slightly forward, leaning forward so your knee connects to your left elbow, or your right elbow, sorry, and then lifting the toes up, keeping your arms in like a chaturanga. Slowly let your toes come back down. You can come through center. Pause for a moment. If you took it to one side, move to the other. Just a different angle. Your hands are on the floor, your triceps are pointing back, your biceps are forward. You're looking forward, your knee connects to your tricep or your elbow. As you shift your weight forward, you keep your feet together, squeeze the inner thighs, lift the toes. Slowly lower back down, coming into your toe stand, pause. Reach your arms out in front of you, let your heels land very gently, whoop, and then let your butt land, and then lift your legs up. You can have knees bent, hands can be on the floor, hands can be on the thighs, legs can be straight. Take one more breath. Bend your knees, let the soles of the feet come to the ground. Knees nice and wide, fold over your legs. You can hold onto your toes if you like. Give yourself a moment and a breath. On your next inhale, bring yourself back up. You're going to come into Gomukhasana or cow face legs. A couple variations though, so I will, if that's not a part of your practice, all good. There is a modification. You're going to close the knees. The feet are going to be on the ground. We're going to start off with the right leg. So you're going to take your left hand, the left leg. So you're going to take your right hand underneath your right leg and take hold of the ankle of your left leg and then sweep it under so your heel is beside your right hip. You take your left hand to your left ankle and pull the heel across so it's towards your left hip. Your knees are stacked one on top of the other if you can get them there. And for lesser sensation, generally speaking, the heels are closer towards your hips. And for more sensation, the heels are away from the hips and the shins are more parallel towards the long edge of your mat, or the short edge, depending on how you're sitting. So if this position is not a friend of yours, just come to a cross-legged position with your foot stacked on top of your thigh, knee, shin. Doesn't matter what it looks like. It might be a little awkward looking, and that's totally fine. We're just getting into our hips in any which way that we can, getting a little bit more space. So whatever position you're in, do your little wiggles and adjustments. Stay here. And then take an inhale breath to reach your arms out nice and wide. As you exhale, right arm's gonna come on top of the left. Your hands can rest on your shoulder heads, your shoulder blades, or if you have the flexibility, backs of the hands could come together, or you could wrap at your wrists, so eagle arms. So you can stay right here, stay upright, that's totally fine. Or sit nice and tall, breathe in. As you exhale, make sure your feet are flexed, begin to shift forward. Maybe your elbows can come down to your top knee. Maybe they can come to the floor in front of you. Whatever variation you're in, just pause for 3 breaths. Continue to keep your sit bones really heavy towards the ground and flex your feet strongly. On your next inhale, slowly bring yourself up. If you lowered down, if you didn't, no big deal. You're gonna unravel your arms. Reach your fingertips to the floor behind you and just walk your fingers as close towards one another as you can, sending your chest forward and up. You can keep your gaze forward or you can look up, whatever you like. You know, this might not be very graceful for some of us, and that's totally fine. You're gonna take your right hand, sweep it forward, and then over towards the left, okay? So you're facing towards the left side of your mat or your room. We're gonna start to lift our hips up and turn towards the left. So you're gonna press down, lift your hips, and turn to the left. Okay, right now your legs are in kind of a pyramid pose position. If they're not, wiggle around so you're in a pyramid pose position. Your front toes are pointing forward, your back toes are pointing just a little bit off, so they're not straight, they're a little bit angled. Pull your front hip back and pull your back hip forward. You can even use your hand to adjust yourself. Your opposite hand is on the floor to frame your foot, or to stabilize yourself rather. Take a nice deep breath in here. Maybe as you exhale, you can lean a little bit closer towards that front leg. And then let your hand come down your leg. We're gonna go for a little walk back. So you're gonna start to walk even more towards the left. You're gonna turn your toes so they're pointing the same direction. From here, take a little sway side to side. A little forward and back. Good, and then the next time that you're towards your opposite foot, so we're gonna continue the circle all the way around. You're gonna turn, so now we're in our pyramid pose on the other side. Again, you can bring your hand up your leg, find your hip crease, slide your hip back, press down into your back heel, squaring off the hips, lengthening through the spine, pressing down into both of your feet, using your other hand to stabilize yourself so you're balanced. Mula Bandha, engage, shoulders roll back, one more breath. Exhaling maybe to find a little bit more depth. Let your hand slide back down your leg. Begin to continue your circle. So all the way around, your toes are gonna start to turn towards the front position again. You're gonna slowly bend your knees again. Don't worry if it's not very graceful, especially if you're not in the Gomukhasana legs. Be very, very kind to your knees. See, landing, it doesn't have to be a perfect position by any means. Once you get here, then just wiggle around. And one side will probably feel a lot different than the other side. So do what you need to do to find what works for you on this side. And then take a nice deep breath in, reach the arms up. Exhale the arms into a T. Take another breath in, open your chest. As you exhale, left arm comes on top of the right arm. You can hold on to your shoulder heads, your shoulder blades. Maybe the backs of the hands come together. Maybe you wrap the wrists. Sit nice and tall, lengthen your spine, big breath in. As you exhale, maybe you lean just slightly forward. Maybe the elbows find the top knee. Maybe the elbows find the ground. Keep flexing through your feet. Couple breaths. On an inhale breath, slowly bring yourself back up. If you're not already, unwind your arms. Reach the arms back behind you, fingertips to the floor. Walk your fingertips as close towards one another as you can get them, sending your chest forward and up. Low belly draws in. Nice work. And on your next inhale, you're going to bring both of your hands up. You can uncross your legs however it feels good for you. Extend your legs out in front of you. Give them a quick little shake. Maybe take your hands to your quads and roll them around a little bit. We're going to come onto our back from here, so just nice and slow. You can bend your knees. Roll to your spine. Let your knees come in towards your body. Give yourself a nice little squeeze. You can rock a little bit side to side if you like. Might feel nice to draw some circles with your knees, going a couple times one way. Couple of times the other way. Great, and then coming to center, let your feet come down to the ground. Walk your heels as close towards your butt as you can get them. Keep your feet and your knees hip distance apart. Bring your hands to the floor right next to your hips. Snuggle your shoulders underneath your heart space. And then begin to press down into your heels. Lift your bum, lift your hips. Keep your gaze at the ceiling. Press down into the backs of your shoulders. Press down into your feet. Keep strongly lifting your hips up, squeezing your glutes. Take one more breath in. As you exhale, you can slowly lower back down. Let your knees knock side to side, towards the right, towards the left. Bring them back to center. Reach your arms up into the air and roll your wrists a couple of times. So if bridge felt really nice for you, if you'd like to stick with that for the second round, that's great. If you'd like to try coming into wheel pose, we're gonna move through it in steps. So just give your wrists a little bit of love. Walk your feet close towards your bum. Your hands are gonna come by your head with your fingers pointing towards your shoulders. Now, if this right away is a lot for your wrists, you can just stay here and just work towards putting more pressure into your hands. You don't need to worry about lifting your hips or anything else, but just keeping feet and knees in line with one another and just putting a little bit of pressure into your hands so you can feel the stretch in the forearm and the wrist and just building strength in that area. If you're quite comfortable in this position and you'd like to take it to the next level, you can begin to press down into your feet, lift your hips, press into your hands. You can rest on the top of your head for a moment and then begin to straighten your arms. Continue to press your hips up, engage your glutes. And if this is feeling great for you, you could shift your weight just slightly forward, your chest going towards the top edge of your mat, and then just shifting back. Shifting forward, shifting back. So you're bending your knees and straightening them. You can always come out early if you need to, coming down slowly. As you are ready to come out, tuck your chin in towards your chest, bend your elbows, lower down gently, and then just bring your hands by your sides and knock your knees again side to side. Back bends can be really invigorating, so just notice what you feel here. Great, let your knees come back to center. Walk your feet so they're hip distance apart if they're not already, and then just take a little shift of your hips towards the right and let your knees fall to the left. You can snuggle your shoulders a little bit closer to the left, so your right shoulder might come a little closer down to the floor. Left hand can rest on the right knee, right arm can reach off to the side. You can gaze wherever you feel comfortable and just take a couple moments of pause here. Last 2 breaths. Slowly bring yourself back to center. Adjust around a little bit. And then hips shift to the left. Knees move to the right. Maybe snuggle your shoulders a bit to the right so your left shoulder can come down towards the ground. Right hand might like to rest on the belly or the outside of the left thigh. Maybe the left arm reaches off to the side. Just offer yourself a few moments of softness here. As you're ready, slowly begin to unwind, bringing yourself back to center. Bring your knees in, little rock side to side. We'll finish off with just a very quick inversion, so legs can lift straight up into the air. You could press a little bit down into your hands with your hands by your hips and just slide your hands underneath your hips so you have a little bit of extra elevation. If you have a block handy, you could slide a block underneath you. If you have a wall close by, you could elevate your legs up against the wall. And your feet can be just relaxed here. Bend your knees as much as you like. Just allowing the blood that pools into the feet begin to drip down. Just a gentle stretch for the low back and the hamstrings as well. So truly, you could stay here for much longer if you'd like. We'll be slipping into Shavasana from here, so please take your time in this position. If you want to stay longer, that's great. When you are ready to slide into your final relaxation, just let your feet come down to the ground gradually. Remove the lift of the hips if you have it. And begin to extend your legs out. And let your feet be really floppy. Hands can rest wherever you feel comfortable. Pay very close attention to the sensations in your face. And see if you can let them soften and relax a little bit more. And drop your attention down into the parts of your body that are touching the earth. Realize that the resistance of gravity that we are in throughout our day, throughout our practice, we're always resisting gravity. But right now that can dissolve. So you can really let gravity pull you downwards and embrace you. Really feeling into a sense of being held. And you can stay here for as long as your body wants to. How long, it doesn't matter. Just allowing the practice to digest, the body to receive the benefits, the mind to receive the benefits. When you are ready, take your time. Bathe yourself in gratitude. And I thank you so much for practicing with me.